Most designer will think that the portfolio is their product, and I'll challenge you that you are the product. So that's why just stop presenting the portfolio project itself, because the hiring panel is usually evaluating much more than the project itself. They are usually evaluating how you think, how you collaborate, how you solve problem, and whether or not you will be effective from day one itself. And that's why two designers can present the same work and get totally different outcomes. Now, in this video, I'll break down what exactly the hiring panel is looking for and how do you structure your case studies around it. So let's dive in. All right, so we will look at these four things today. So starting off with the purpose of the call. Second, what are they scanning in portfolio? The third thing is how are they managing your time? And last thing is we will look at my personal portfolio slide and I'll break down how I think about these things and then how do I structure my work. So starting with the first point, which is what is the call purpose? And it's very simple that they are checking if you are a rock star designer or not. So let's suppose you are an applicant who has applied and then has already cleared the hiring manager round. Now you're on the portfolio round. Now, one thing that you will have to remember is that this is your place to shine. Some of the bad thing that you can do here is just make the portfolio very context heavy, show no impact in your portfolio, or just go overtime, because usually that's what they also take. And some of the good thing that you can do is you can really show that you understand the problem, then you are good with decision making. And third thing is make the slides the most beautiful thing that you have ever done in your life. Now, starting with the second point, which is what reviewers are actually evaluating. So most of the time you will be presented with a panel who will be evaluating your work. And now they are evaluating multiple things simultaneously. So starting off with product thinking, that are you actually solving the right problem and do you have the understanding of the user? Then second thing is the communication, like do you think about growth? Do you think about product? Do you think about raising the bar or not? Third thing is the delivery. So when you delivered your project, what were the system constraints? And have you done any micro interaction? And have you basically gone up and above what has been asked to you? And the last one is the use of AI. This one is quite recent, but take my word for it. I think in the current age, which is 2026, if you are presenting your work, most of the time expectation will be that have you done any work with AI or not? And the last thing is the design execution bit. So definitely they are looking at your UI craft and then how do you structure your work with the design system. And the last thing is the flow and the interaction. And basically how do you contextualize your work in respect to the company. So in this, I do not have any favorites. I think most of them are very important. So you have to make sure that in your portfolio, you are covering these four things at the minimum. Now, starting off with how to manage these 45 to 60 minutes. So my strong recommendation there would be just to show only two projects. And then the anatomy of that case study can be like this. Now, first of all, I will say this, that do not hide behind a generic process. Just try to be bold. Even if you have not followed the process, it's fine. I think in today's age, going fast is much more important. And the anatomy of a case study can be like this. So you start with the context, then you talk about the problem, then you get into the explore part, like how many different things that you have thought through and how are you ranking them. Then talk about design, the actual design work that you have done. And the last one is the impact. Because of this, what expected impact or what actual impact have you brought? And then you can take out one or two things from here, but make sure that you are expending most of your time either in exploration and design and explaining what the problem are you trying to solve. Now, the first case study, make this the strongest and the most relevant project yet. What thing that you have to remember is you have to start with the context, then you talk about the problem, then talk about the decision, and then the last thing is end on the outcomes. Now, the evaluation criteria will be the design depth. They are just checking out how deep you are in your own process. The next thing is case study 2. Now, this ideally should be a supplementary project that should supplement your case 1 study. If it's not, that's also fine. But that's what I usually do. I try to show the work that I have not covered in the project 1. So it sort of shows the depth of my design work. So start with the context. Then if you want to get into design system, that's fine. If you want to get into motion design, that's fine. And the criteria, as I said earlier, that it's a design breadth that we are checking. And the last one is prepare some very short questions. So what will happen is usually you will be given 45 minutes or 1 hour, and then there will be some portfolio follow-ups of it. So people will take notes, and then in the follow-up, they will ask you these questions. The follow-up will usually be around 30 minutes. So they have taken notes based on your portfolio, and In the portfolio, let's suppose you have some time left, then prepare these very short questions and answers. So starting off with why this problem, why this solution was selected, what the research played a role in this or not, what failed, how would you improve the thing, and then did you use the AI or not? I think these are the very important question. The last one, I think most of the time when I've been in portfolio round, people usually ask these questions. So definitely roll over your eyes on these questions and then how would you answer those. The last one is some real life examples. So I'll again strongly recommend just to show only two projects. And then today I'll about to show you my personal portfolio, and this helped me hire into these companies: Adobe, Atlassian, Amazon, and multiple multinational companies. And one thing that I'll again emphasize here is make it the best looking portfolio possible. So this is how my case studies look like. So I'll start with the first project, which is a unified app store, the work I did at Atlassian. I'll talk about what my team was, what was the duration, and what was the outcome. Then I talk about the problem and then emphasize some of the things that I want to emphasize. Then I talk about systems, that because of that problem, how systems were changing. Then I talk about what the vision would look like, because at my level, I think presenting a vision and then presenting a very bold and very upcoming design is quite helpful. So that's what I do next. Then I talk about the solution. So in this case, the solution was a little bit of a platform thinking, and then there were these core capability of the platform. Then I talk about the solution, one part of that platform. Then I get into like the actual design work. So now you can understand that I have set up so much earlier that why this solution makes sense in the context of what I have done. So then I talk about the work. I do not show a lot of interaction per se, but I definitely show intermediary states. Then wherever possible, I try to make the design as the hero. So do not try to write any text on it. So I'll just highlight that these are the couple of variation I did. And then again, getting back into how different angles you can take within your own project. And then towards the end, I'll cover up the impact of this work. So that was my first project. In the second project, what I usually do is pick a little bit of a lighter project and then show how fast we work. So this was the work I did at Myntra. And then I talk about what was the vision, the guardrail. And then I try to be very specific in terms of what journey I was leading versus what journey others were leading. And then how we sort of structured our solution around two parts. One was single page, one was buy now. And then these were the four important aspects of it. So this sort of gives them idea that, okay, this is what we will be covering next. Then unified checkout was the first one. And again, like this is how I would structure. So in the case study one, I have taken a Textro project. In the case study two, I have also taken a mobile project. And that's something that you can also do. And I try to write as little text as possible. I try to highlight what are the things that your eyes basically should go towards. So that's there. And then again, I'll show the intermediary states. Like this is the starting, this is the ending, and then this is how the pop-up will come. And then let's suppose this is the whole timeline. So I try to make sure that I'm making it as beautiful as possible. So the first time whenever a user sort of looks at it, they understand, oh, like I put in care. So that's one thing. The second thing is, even if they zone out in between and then come back in, at least these visuals will help guide them. Okay, what is this project saying about? And then they do not need any context. And then this is how it starts, where I'll give them a little bit of a context that what two projects are coming their way. So I'll try to also make sure that the thumbnail is very good and sort of communicative of what I want to communicate. So these were my slides, and try to make sure that whenever you are using such a template, try to make sure that it covers a lot of things that you want to show. And then from there, you can pick a template and go with it. Now that wraps up today's video. Again, final takeaway here is that the portfolio is not the product. You are the product. Now, what we have discussed earlier is that let's suppose this is the whole journey. You start with the resume, intro call, then you get into hiring manager, portfolio, and then hopefully you will be getting some follow-ups to this as well. So this is your main place to shine. Now, starting off with not making, of course, these sort of mistakes. So make sure you do not do that in your portfolio. So starting off with, are you a rock star or not? Second thing is, has this person done the job previously? And the third thing is just show only two projects, just go all in. And the last one is just make it the best looking portfolio possible. You should be proud of the visual design and the interaction and the overall structuring of a portfolio, most importantly. And once you sort of reach that level, you get pretty confident, and then that energy sort of radiates in the room as well. So that covers up the portfolio round. Hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.